Welcome to Financial Tech Talks. This is episode 18. And as you guys know, this is the end of the year. We're a few days from 2024. So I wanted to talk to y'all today about something that I think will be very beneficial. Um, it is the essential guide to purchasing a car. So I have 10 great tips that I would like to pass along to you guys. So I just want to go ahead and get it right into it. So, um, when you buy a car at this time of year, analysts say, a lot of financial experts say that the end of the year is a great time because dealers are willing to give you better deals because a lot of them are trying to get rid of previous year inventory, which is they get the 2024s in, so if they have a stockpile or a lot of inventory on the 2023s, then they're willing to give you a better deal. So this will be a good time to, if you're in the purchasing market, this will be a good time to go ahead and get into that. So um, let me go ahead and do this real quick. All right, so step one is research the type of vehicle and the cost before going to the dealership. So you might ask, why would you do that? Well, good reason for doing that is because when you buy a car, it is one of the biggest purchases you'll make in your life. It's one of the biggest. Um, Number one is the car. You have a car payment, usually is from 2 to 6 years. Um, you want to be able to buy the best vehicle for yourself, something that you like, something that you really want. So you really want to make sure that you do your research, know what you want, and go before you get to the dealerships. Second is get a quote from the insurance company. So once you figure out what kind of car you want, you go to your insurance company and you get quotes and you find out what that cost is, because that cost is a actual in addition to your car payment. It is, it's going to make a difference depending on what type of vehicle it is, especially if it's a sports car. Step three, get a pre-approval check from your financial institution. This will give you more negotiating power. I'll tell you from experience that when you have a pre-approval check, you kind of have a really good idea of what you're willing to pay, and 9 times out of 10, that's your limit. So you know that this is something that I always recommend to people, because when I did it for the first time, I was amazed at the response you get from people when you go in there with more confidence. They know that you're in the driver's seat, and you don't even have to necessarily tell them that you have a pre-approval check. But what you do know is what you're willing to pay for any vehicle that they offer you. You know exactly what you're willing to pay, and it gives you what I call negotiating power. So step four is always do a walkthrough and a drive and test drive. Never, never, never buy a car without test driving it. But I will go one step further, and I will say you do what they say. You kick the tires. You look under the car. You look in the trunk. You looking under the hood. You go in. You open the doors. You open the glove compartment. You open all the access hatches in the car, any compartments in the car. You move the seats. You look at the condition of everything, because if you're paying for a new or paying for a car, you want to make sure you get the best deal possible. And 9 times out of 10, if it's a good car, then it was taken care of inside and out. So that's something that I recommend you guys look into. And step five is, don't be afraid to ask questions. A lot of people, when they're getting to um, to a point where they're ready to purchase a car, they get in there and it's kind of a stressful situation, because you have this professional salesperson who's a lot of times, sometimes pushing you in a direction you don't want to go. So you have to know that you're in charge because your money is going to be paying his salary. So you make sure that you show some some leadership within yourself and do what's in your best interest. Don't let them push you. And one of the things I would say is ask them if they have a Carfax. And for those who don't know what a Carfax is, it is the vehicle accident history of that car. So they base it. So it has every car has what they call a VIN number, and basically they track the accidents on that car. Um, and I wouldn't buy a car that didn't have a Carfax. I wouldn't do it unless I was a person who was into repairing vehicles and I knew what I was getting myself into. But if I'm just a regular guy who just wants a vehicle for transportation or for looks or whatever you want it for, I would want to know what if it's been in any accidents. Um, Step six is if the car is used, consider getting it inspected by a third party mechanic. I will tell you if it is a foreign car and is used and you don't know much about cars, I would definitely do that if you're spending a significant amount of money on a car. And that's a relative term because it depends on, how much money you make. But I would say go to a third party mechanic if you really are not sure about the purchase. It may be a few $100s, but it could save you thousands in the long run. So just consider that. Step six, bring someone with you if you've never purchased a car before. Um, purchasing a car is, I'm telling you, it can be stressful. So just bring someone with you who's purchased cars before. Mom, dad, uncles, cousins, people who have experience in that area because they'll see things and notice things and hear things that you may not catch. So just, keep that in mind when you in your purchasing journey. Step eight, do your research regarding extended warranties. Oftentimes they do not cover the more critical vehicle issues. Um, Again, a lot of things that I'm saying is I've experienced personally, and it's nothing worse than buying a car, paying $3,000, $5,000 for extended warranty, and then the first time the car has an issue, they don't cover it. And a lot of times they'll say it's bumper to bumper, powertrain, all of this stuff, but it's small things that can affect the operation of your vehicle that they do not cover, and and if it's something that's expensive, you can forget about it. They're not going to cover it. They'll smile in your face and sell you this warranty, giving you this sense of comfort, but you'll be disappointed. So I'll say if you're going to do it, do your research, know what you're buying, read the contract fully, understand what you're signing, and then you'll probably be better off in that regard. So step nine, shop around and compare prices. Remember, the consumer is in control of the buying process. I stress that the consumer is in control of the buying process. So shop around, compare prices. And my personal motto is if I see a car that I like, I will not buy it that day. I will always go, shop around, compare other vehicles, similar vehicles, or, it might be the same model, same color, or, I will always compare before I make that final purchase because remember, that is a commitment. It's a if you don't buy cash, it's a 2 to 6 year commitment and with interest. So just remember that. Step 10, finally buy a car you can afford. It's never smart to have a payment, that down the road you realize I don't have the ability to pay for this car. I have, school or children or, my mortgage is, the priority or, just know in your that it's in your budget to own that vehicle because, again, insurance, you have taxes, like where I live in Virginia, we have a tax, and then if you have a luxury car, there is an additional tax that you have to pay. There are some people who can get around that if they're in the military, but most people have to pay that tax on the luxury vehicle. So I would recommend that buy a car you can afford. And I would say that is my 10 tips. And I guarantee you that these tips are beneficial. If you write these down or you watch this video and write them down, you'll definitely benefit from these tips. So thanks again for watching Financial Tech Talks in 2023. We had a pretty good year. We're always encouraging uh, people to follow us, follow our channel. My partners, Ramon, James, and Jerome. Ramon and James, they are my co-hosts, and they do some shows, and we do some shows together. And our partner Jerome, he has our what we have is called a Discord channel, which is a more in depth. Um, it's more in depth when we talk about investing. And um, I also would like you guys to again follow us on TikTok, on Facebook. Um, you can watch you can listen to our podcast on our streaming on any streaming service, preferably iHeart because that one is the one that is the easiest and is free. Um, you can watch our short videos on TikTok. You can watch on YouTube. You can watch them on Facebook. We do often, sometimes do live streams on Facebook. So you might want to check us out on there. Um, and I just want to thank you guys for everything. And we'll see you again in 2023, 2024, I mean. All right. Have a good holiday and Happy New Year.